All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, never the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
Hello and welcome to the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast. We're back with another WNBA return. I'm so super excited about the WNBA returning. As you know, I do cover the Las Vegas Aces during the WNBA season. Um, this season, they tipped off with the Phoenix Mercury. As you know, the Phoenix Mercury was the team that caused the Aces to exit the playoffs early. As you remember, I had championship aspirations for the Aces, but they did not get the job done. But huge win tonight. I want to hop right into it. 106-88 was the final score. This would mark the first win for Becky Hammonds at the helm with the Las Vegas Aces. Leading all scorers with the Aces is going to be De'Erica Hamby. In 31 minutes, she had 24 points. She was getting it going early. Loved the aggressiveness that she showed. Next one was Jackie Young with 20. Asia Wilson chipped in with 15. Kelsey Plum had 20. I mean, great all around production for the Aces. It did get a little bit tight in the fourth quarter. They did withstand a big, huge night from Skylar Diggins Smith. In 32 minutes, she had 25 points, but she kind of fizzled out in the fourth quarter. But the Aces ultimately was able to get this job done. Love the energy, love the new look. I was trying to figure out how I was going to look without. Um, I was trying to figure out how it was going to look since their front going to be a little bit thin. I did watch Liz Cambage make her debut with the Los Angeles Sparks, and she didn't look particularly well when I did view that game. I think that the Aces look a little bit better without her. They push the ball a little bit more. As you know, she's a big. They have Asia Wilson and her at the last year, and I think the offense looks a little different. It looks like it moves a little bit faster. I'm really excited to see how this team competes with Becky Hammond as the head coach. But right now we're waiting on their Zoom to start so we can start asking questions at the podium. Hopefully I can get a chance to ask some Aces player coaches about the game. So if y'all bear with me, I'm going to mute my mic and wait for their Zoom to start. Currently, if you're just now tuning in, we're covering the WNBA. They did return back. Great team win for the Las Vegas Aces. I love watching this team, compete. I love the energy that they had, but it did look a little scary because Skylar Diggins was getting it going, and up until the fourth quarter, and then they was able to ultimately seal this win. Um, we're still trying to figure out what's the situation with Brittany Griner. The team does look a lot different than I saw last year. They was getting pummeled in the paint, and that's probably just due to they don't have their interior force and Brittany Griner to redirect those shots and change some shots and things like that. But give the Mercury credit; they battled as much hard as they could. Diana Taurasi, I mean, what can you say? She's you know WNBA legend, Mercury legend, whatever you want to call it. Um, but we're still waiting on the Aces to address the media. But if you have any questions, just hit the chat. Um, if you want to discuss the game, if you watched the game, great game. If you missed it, you missed a great game. Very interesting game. Very excited about the WNBA and their return tonight. There was some nice games that came on. The Mystics played tonight. The Sparks played. Then you have the Aces taking on the Mercury, which was the marquee matchup for me because I am covering the Aces all year long. Very excited about this season tipping off. Happy to see the WNBA return. So right now, if you're just tuning in, just waiting on the Aces to address the media. Sometimes these typically take a little bit longer just because they're getting ready for their media session. Ladies are getting ready to address the media as well. So bear with us. As soon as we get live coverage at the podium, we'll definitely have some questions and answers. If you have any questions, just hit the chat. We'll address those comments as they come across the screen. Going into some other matchups while we're still waiting, like I said before, I did watch that Sparks and Sky game. Now that game did go into overtime with the Sparks taking on the defending world champs, Chicago Sky. Now in overtime, the Sparks pretty much dominated the overtime period, outscoring them 10-3. Ended up getting a crucial win against them, 98-91. In Liz Cambage's debut, she had 24 minutes and 20 in 24 minutes, she had 12 points. The details of the box score didn't really show exactly, the actual game. It's just a little snapshot. It's just a snippet of the game. But she struggled a little bit. She missed her first five shots, getting it done like she normally does on the board. She had four rebounds. I look for those to probably be a little bit more as she gets acclimated to the team. Just keep in mind that the WNBA is pretty fast. Like they only have about 2 weeks to actually train before they actually in preseason and actually playing live games, and they have significant time off. During their off season and things like that. It's totally different from the NBA. Once their season starts, they have to have a quick turnaround where they're having to get acclimated to new teammates, new coaching if they change coaches over the off season. So it's very difficult to adjust once the WNBA does start. So once the Sparks start getting really acclimated or whatever, I want to see exactly how Liz fits. I started covering the Aces, particularly because Liz was one of my favorite players, but then she, jumped over to the Sparks side. I'm still rocking with the Aces. I like what they have going over there. Definitely love their All Star coach. As you know, Becky Hammond. She was under Coach Greg Popovich for a while, so I'd love to see exactly how she impact the Aces this season. The Aces were my favorite. I wanted them to win the championship, but they fell short to the Phoenix Mercury. As you know, Brittany Griner, she's still dealing with her situation out in Russia. We are praying for her, hopefully for her safe return back to the WNBA. Can't wait to see how she bounces back from that situation. Definitely tough to see one of the WNBA star players, Brittany Griner, not out there with her teammates. I definitely think that she could have impacted this game, maybe kept it a little bit closer. But this Aces team look different. They move a little different. I'm just excited to see the WNBA return. Excited to see what this Aces team is going to do. But going back to this Sparks game, so with Liz Cambage, she had 12 points. Um, then you had Brittany Sykes, she only had 9. Jordan Canada, she had 21. NECA, she ended up having a game in 37 minutes. NECA had 37, 37 minutes and 19 points in 37 minutes. So not too bad. They really didn't have like a big output from one player. It's pretty much balanced scoring. They have a few new faces that I'm not familiar with, but um, I'm gonna get acclimated to them. I'm going to be watching pretty much all the WNBA games I can, and going live whenever Aces play so that we can, get some live content from their media team. Not sure exactly what time they plan on addressing the media. We're still waiting on them to address the media currently.
This meeting is being recorded.
You still always want your team to play hard, but you want to be respectable in the win and how you win.
Michelle?
Yeah, Michelle Vopel from ESPN.com. You're a tough grader. That was under for the D. But I just wanted to ask in general. I know you're an old hand at being a coach by now, but how special was this night for you? Starting, with this franchise, and also just how well this team shot. I know Phoenix maybe is down a little defensively, but still, you guys shot 58% from the field tonight.
Well, luckily for me, Michelle, these guys all there and really like playing with each other. So in one sense, that makes us. 27 assists in a 40-minute game is really moving the ball and playing with each other. And credit to them, they've just kind of bought into what I'm selling them, and they go out there and they can hoop. It's. I know what we're capable of, and that's why I say B, because I'm like, there's so many things that I know we can do better, and they know it. But overall, don't get it wrong. It was super fun. I was more curious coming into this game just to see us against the live defense and seeing them out there against a very good team with very good players. And so I think what actually probably made it really cool for me is I could feel their energy for me, if that makes sense. Like I feel how bad they wanted it for me, and so that was probably the most special thing about it. It was just how badly they know there's a spotlight, and eventually I got to move out of it and they got to move into it. It's got to be about the girls, and they're the ones getting stops. They're the one getting buckets out there, and I'm just there to help them. Thank you.
Jack
Levenberg, WNBA lead. What are some of those things that you think you can improve on for the next game and going forward?
Just schematically, defensively. I would say we did it right about 80% of the time. I'm a coach. I want it 100% of the time. So I'll stay on them. They all know I've told them I'm going to coach them hard on that end of the floor. Offensively, I know their skills at times will just take over. There's no need to get fancy. They can flat out score the ball. So I give them a lot of trust on that aspect. And then we just got to keep moving the ball. I thought we played in a crowd occasionally. Got in too deep a little bit and caused the turnovers. We had 16 and they got 25 points off it. So that's one area for sure that I know we can clean up.
Nick?
Thanks, guys. Miss Hamby.
Nick, why don't you start us off?
Hey, Derek, and congratulations on the win. Just talk about what you felt like the most beneficial aspect of this game for you all as far as offensively. It seemed like the spacing and everything really came together for you. But what specifically for you and the rest of the team you felt like was starting to really click and flow that enabled you to get this win tonight against a tough Mercury team?
Yeah, I think since the first day Becky's been here, her emphasis has been pace and space. And so for me, that's kind of how I play. I know people know I like to run in transition and whatnot. We've always been a good transition team, but I think with this open floor, it creates a lot more opportunities in transition. And then defensive, we're scrapping, and people don't like to play against that in the W. So we're just playing hard. Tonight was a lot of fun.
Andy?
Obviously you guys have history with this team. How did it feel to get to measure yourself against them, knowing that, they took you guys in 5 last year?
Yeah, we joked about it before the game that we owed them one, and obviously they're not 4th, but neither are we. And it was a good measuring stick to see where we are and some things we can build on. But overall, I think we're all happy with the win.
I know Becky's talked about how well conditioned you came into camp, and you talked about how well you feel like you fit this team. But getting out there and actually getting to do it, 24 points tonight, I think you led the team in plus minus as well.
Mm-hmm.
Did it feel like everything's already clicked in?
Yeah, it felt natural for me. This is my game, so I'm excited about that. I mean, we've always been good, obviously, but personally for me, I think I'm a little bit more impactful when we can play like this.
Corey?
Hey, Dearica, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Great. Congrats on the win. So you spoke a little bit about on last year, with them, struggling with closing them out on last year. So how does it feel to get this one, so early for Coach Hammonds?
It's a like you said, they're not full strength, and neither are we, but it's a good way to start the season and set the tempo. And like I said, we did a lot of things well, so taking that and building off of it.
Willie G.
Hey, Dearica, you had said that this system, this type of play is more your style. But I'm wondering from a mental standpoint, right? The last 3 seasons, you and Kelsey, 3 Sixth Woman of the Year awards. But as a starter, is it different from a mental standpoint in terms of coming out playing with a different purpose? I mean, once you get rolling, even when you come off the bench, you look the same. But tonight, was there a different feeling from a mental standpoint?
Uh, a little bit, I'd say, probably subconsciously. I feel like Kelsey and I, especially Kelsey, probably more than me, feels like we have something to prove. And I don't know, I'm just excited. I'm just looking forward to the season. I'm kind of overwhelmed right now, actually.
All right, last question for Dearica. Yes, hand up.
Oh, nice. I didn't know you could see me. Jackie also had a really good game. It looks like she's playing really free. What improvements have you seen from her this offseason, and what do you think?
Her confidence, and obviously she's more of a mid-range driver, so the floor is open for her. And I think for 1 through 5, the floor is open. We had a lot of drivers, and I think we shot the 3 well. Yeah, we shot the 3 really well. So it's really hard to stop a team when you can do a little bit of everything.
Thanks a lot, Dee. We'll be back with Jackie Young and Asia Wilson. Just one other quick note. Not including the 1997 season, this is only the 3rd time that 2 first-year head coaches have faced off against one another in the opening game. For those who joined late, Chelsea Gray picked up her 1,000th career assist. Asia Wilson with her 38th career double-double. That's the 3rd most in Aces franchise history. That includes the Utah Stars and San Antonio teams. The 106 points we scored today tied for the 4th most in our franchise history. Hello, Miss Jackie.
Hey.
Let's get things started with Jack.
Hi, Jack Levenberg, WNBA lead. You started the game 6 for 6 in the first half, and you ended 8 for 10. What were you seeing out there that allowed you to score so efficiently tonight?
Yeah, I just tried to come out and be aggressive. DT was sagging off a little bit, giving me my mid-range, and thankfully I was knocking him down.
Andy, are you raising a hand? There we go.
Yeah, sure, I can go. Jackie, you look like a very confident player after this offseason. What kind of work did you put in to prepare yourself for this year, and how do you feel you fit into this new system?
Yeah, I just spent a lot in the gym, just working on my mid-range, working on my 3. But I think the biggest thing for me is just coming in with an aggressive mindset and just trusting myself. I know my teammates trusted me, and I just have to have that same trust in myself.
Jackie, can you slide a foot to your right and we can bring Miss Wilson in completely into frame? Perfect. Matthew?
Hey, Matthew Walter from the Next. Jackie, like Jack said, you started off really hot tonight, and you talked about coming into the season how being MVP in Australia helped to boost your confidence. How does that carry over into tonight, and how does that carry over through the rest of the season and early part of the year?
Yeah, I had a pretty good season in Australia. I really just went out myself, work on my game, work on myself mentally, and just come out being aggressive and confident. Like I just said, my teammates trust me. I just have to have that same trust and confidence in myself.
Nick?
Good evening, ladies. Congratulations on the win. This question is for both of you. How much would you feel offense as we go on through practices and training camp? But how well did you feel like this offense really helped you, and how quickly were you able to adjust to this offense tonight in order to get the win over a tough Mercury team?
I think the biggest this offense has shown us is just the spacing on the floor, and it just allows us to just hoop at the end of the day. I've said it multiple times, but Becky allows us to just lay the foundation down and just go with it. She understands she's not out there playing with us. We're gonna read, we're gonna make reads, maybe good, maybe bad, but we take what they give us and we just play. So I think it's easy, and as pros, you adjust and you adapt, and that's what we've been doing. So it's been cool.
Anybody in the room who I can't see with a question? There we go. Hand raised.
Yeah, only 8 shots tonight, Asia. But
Yeah.
You guys still win by 18 points. How encouraging is that for you?
Oh man, it's very encouraging. I mean, when you got people that's gonna hoop and put that thing up, I mean, let's not get it twisted. I got a gun, I can let it fly. But you know, when you have players that are just in the groove, like a Jackie, like a KP and a D, I mean, I can just do all that I can just to make sure that they're producing the way that they need to. Being a good teammate for them is all that I care about at the end of the day. And we got the win, so it is pretty encouraging where I can have a light day with the gun that I'm shooting, but it's been good.
I think you guys held Tina to 33%. That's the reigning scoring champ in the league. What was kind of your approach on defense?
When you're playing against a good player like Tina, you just got to make it uncomfortable for her. And it's hard because great players are going to always have a counter. You do what you can. Try your best to just make it hard. But we executed our game plan and we just went with it.
What improvements have you seen from Jackie?
Oh man, her confidence is not even just on the court, it's off the court as well. I remember Ricky Jackie wouldn't say a word. Now she's calling out screen. It's baby steps. But no, her confidence beams, and you can just tell it on the court that she knows that she's a good. I think she's finally realized that, and I'm saying she's not here. I think Jackie finally realized that she's a good guard in this league. Like it's very hard to stop her when she gets going downhill, and I'm glad that she realized that, and it helps us. It works out in our favor when she's scoring 20 points a night. I want you to average that now.
Last two questions, Willie G.
Asia, we can piggyback on your answer about supporting cast. Really, in the last couple of years, we've always had 1 or 2 players, different times that'll step up. But with this system, what you've seen 3 weeks of training camp and then tonight, do you feel that this might become part of the norm and where you'll be able to sort of expand and establish different parts of your game much more fluid, and you won't have to rely on that gun every so often? Did it feel more natural in this one, or will time tell with that?
I think honestly, time will tell. I think it just has a lot to just do with myself. I feel like I'm not in a situation where I have to get a touch. I mean, it's good for me to get a touch, but I feel like I'm not in a situation where I have to get it. I have to get it. At the end of the day, like I said, if my teammates are hooping, it's not me. It's like, go ahead, get yours. But so I feel like they also respect me as well to say, hey, Asia needs a touch. So I appreciate them doing that. But I think just time will tell. But I think this is good when you don't know whose night it's going to be.
Matthew?
This is a question for both of you. Coach talked a lot about how you guys being a little under, you're gonna have to rebound. Asia, you had 12 rebounds tonight, and you were battling all night against Tina trying to get those boards. What are you guys gonna need to do to carry over this dominant rebounding performance throughout the season, because you guys will be playing a little more undersized?
Just going after. When it comes to rebounds, it's just you gotta want it more. You can't teach it. It just comes from within, and you just gotta put in that hustle factor and go from there.
Andy, I already said last 2 questions. Put your hand down.
Can I get one more real quick?
We'll give it a shot. We'll see if they stay.
Yeah, real quick.
Don't say real quick. Ask the question.
Yeah, she got this win for Becky in her first game against that team who eliminated you guys last year. What does that mean?
It's super special. I'm glad that we got this. Shout out to Coach Nat with the scout. For sure, we took care of business. So this is just the beginning. We still have a lot to grow and to learn from one another, but this is actually huge just to get Becky her first win.
Thanks, ladies. Thanks, everybody on the Zoom as well as in the room. The Las Vegas Aces are back home on Sunday. where we tip off the home schedule. The 8th of May on ESPN2 against the Seattle Storm. We'll see everybody 7 p.m. tip off from the house.
The recording has stopped.
All right. Thank you for joining in tonight. That's going to do it for us tonight. We'll be back when the Aces play again. I think they play again on Sunday, from what I hear from the Zoom call. So we'll be back with another Ace broadcast. Peace.
If you love the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast, we'd